With the hype for the XFL about to go into overdrive heading into its debut in February, Vince McMahon in a press conference on Thursday added big media coverage for the launch by announcing Governor Jesse Ventura to be the NBC broadcast announcer for the league, with McMahon during the press conference also making headlines inside the industry answering questions about the potential WCW sale, confirming publicly for the first time that the only thing that stopped the WWF from buying WCW last month was a last-minute issue between the company to its new TV home in Viacom, saying that negotiations were going well with Turner and a deal was about to be done before Viacom, who have an exclusivity clause on WWF programming, signed just 2 months ago. Days before the agreement asked McMahon for a major increase in price to complete the deal, which broke down negotiations with Turner, with Vince saying that from that point no further contact was made and currently the deal is off the table. Ric Flair came out for a promo 15 minutes into the show, adding a stipulation to the Booker vs. Luger title match booked by Commissioner Mike Sanders for tonight, saying that if Luger wins the title tonight, the Goldberg vs. Luger match on Sunday will be for the belt, overruling Russo's stipulation of Goldberg having to match his winning streak to get another shot at the title, with Russo reportedly getting another doctor evaluation during the week which came back negative, with him still suffering from post-concussion symptoms and not ready to be back. As with the collapse of McMahon's deal to buy the company, the door was opened again to Eric Bischoff, with him reportedly for the first time since the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view in July involved in WCW programming on the TV product, with him reportedly in charge of the crossover angle between WCW to TV show Battledome, which saw another segment on the night with Rick Steiner calling them out. Nash walked to the ring 5 minutes from the top of the hour, announcing that starting this morning he has 13 months and 10 days left on his WCW contract and he's gonna make the most of the time remaining on his deal, saying that he drove with a good friend from Atlanta to tease the possibility of Scott Hall, calling out the Thrillers to challenge them for a tag title shot at Mayhem to bring them out, with Sanders booking the match for Sunday even if Nash has to wrestle them in a handicap match to start a Nash Thrillers brawl, revealing the partner to be the returning Dallas Page, running in a few seconds after 9 p.m. to set up the tag titles match, with this segment ending 2 minutes into the quarter, with the rest of it mostly featuring a Morris and Meng vs. Duggan and Storm tag match going 3 minutes, opening the head-to-head quarter lower than usual with a 2 rating. With the Survivor Series pay-per-view last night going off the air with Triple H being dropped by a forklift and smashed inside a car, Stephanie was out first to open Raw for a medical update on his condition, saying that Hunter survived but was severely injured and is going to be under medical care for the next few days, with Hunter while selling the angle going to be off for a few weeks with legit back and hip issues which escalated in the past 2 weeks. As Stephanie said that Hunter asked her to publicly apologize to Austin to bring him out to the ring, immediately aggressively going off on her, saying that the only thing he's sorry about is that Hunter is only laying in a hospital bed instead of a funeral home, sending a message to Hunter watching Raw on TV from the hospital to run Stephanie off, with Raw coming off a major pay-per-view along with the added buzz coming from the Jesse Ventura XFL announcement, opened in the normal range at a 4.5 rating. Sanders was out on commentary after booking his pay-per-view opponent on Sunday against a mystery opponent which turned out to be Goldberg, taking out K-Kwik, followed by him sending Sanders a message with Ric Flair coming out to book another impromptu match, setting up Goldberg vs. Sanders on the spot, with Goldberg going over in less than a minute, with the unadvertised Goldberg matches holding Nitro steady at a 2 rating, with another Goldberg appearance teased for the main event with interviews from both Luger and Booker to set the stage. Chris Benoit was out next to confront Austin, saying that he sees him giving stunners and using a forklift but doesn't see a lot of wrestling since he's been back, saying that he's not impressed with Austin to challenge him to a wrestling match tonight, with Austin taking the challenge, setting up a first-time Austin vs Benoit main event in a match designed to be Austin's first in-ring singles match since coming back, with Raw's second quarter with the Benoit-Austin segment followed by a Dudleys vs Right to Censor tag titles match going 4 minutes, jumping over 400,000 viewers to a 4.7 rating. WCW, which stayed in the same number for the entire opposed hour near the 2 rating range, increased slightly to a hour-high 2.1 rating between 9:30 to 45 for a quarter, featuring a Shane Douglas vs Buff Bagwell match going 6 minutes to end up with Bagwell going over after Jarrett and Kat's interferences. While going against it, Raw had an unusual quarter, with most of it taking place backstage, featuring a promo from Jericho talking about his match against Kane from last night, followed by a promo from Rock following up on the Rikishi pay-per-view match after winning the match but being left laying, promising to lay out Rikishi in the tag match coming up, in a quarter which, besides the backstage segments, also saw a hardcore match going backstage with Holly vs Regal going 3 minutes, maintaining a 4.6 to 2.1 rating margin. Scott Steiner opened Nitro's final quarter with the final hype promo for the title match against Booker on Sunday, saying that the company tried to screw him out of the title for the last decade while continuing to do it, with Ric Flair putting the stipulation for the upcoming main event, joining the commentary table to ensure that Booker walks out with the title and counter the expected Goldberg interference, with Booker and Luger going 4 minutes, ending with a Steiner-Goldberg brawl, with Goldberg accidentally costing Luger the match, with Nitro's closing quarter going head-to-head with the Rock tag match on Raw dropping to a show low 1.9 rating, with Nitro overall after last week from London drawing its highest rating in over a month, taking a hit to one of the lowest rated shows in its history with a 2.3 rating. With the knowledge in the past month of the top of the hour now being perhaps the highest profile quarter of the night for the first time in show history due to the WCW viewership being at its core and Nitro not crossing into an overrun, Raw placed the Rock and Jericho vs Kane and Rikishi tag match to go against the Nitro finish while crossing over 10 p.m., making their entrances at 9:54 to go 9 minutes, with Rock and Jericho going over, followed by a post-match beatdown with Rock and Jericho laying out both their pay-per-view opponents with a sharpshooter and the walls to a big reaction, resulting in the match picking up Raw a total of over 1.2 million viewers to its highest opposed quarter of the night with a 5 rating, followed by the overall peak of the night 5.5. again peaking the show between 10 to 10:15 p.m. for the third time in the past 4 weeks to further cement the importance of the time slot going forward, with the second half of the quarter seeing the follow-up of the clever swerve at the finish of last night's Angle vs. Taker title match, with Kurt coming out with brother Eric Angle to explain the situation, putting over Eric as an all-American athlete, with him perhaps also looking to get into the business under the company's developmental deal, ending up with Taker taking them out to close the segment, with him choke slamming Kurt off the entrance stage. After the peak segment at 10 p.m., Raw maintained a 5.3 rating in the next quarter, featuring a Foley and Taker backstage segment and a Radicals vs. Billy Gunn, Road Dogg and Ron Killings 6-man tag match, as with the WWF loaded with star power, with all the top guys simultaneously working full-time for the first time since September '99. And with Rock and Austin's segments and matches usually getting top billing in the main TV time slots from the opening quarter to the top of the hour to the overrun. A new challenge for the company's creative is placing the top names in high-profile segments on a weekly basis, with Taker on the night after taking out the Angle brothers earlier being booked in an impromptu handicap match against Edge and Christian at 10:40, going 3 minutes to end, with Taker going over clean just before the main event. Chris Benoit made his entrance for the main event at 10:54 p.m. just before the final commercial break for a short hype promo, followed by Austin walking to the ring moments later, with the Austin vs. Benoit match in the first ever match between them, with Benoit signing with WCW after Austin was fired and coming to the WWF with Austin out with injury, built on Austin working a straight wrestling match for the first time post-neck injury to establish his current condition and answer questions on his style going forward, with the layout of the match seeing Austin out-wrestling Benoit in several exchanges until Benoit took over, to result in Austin taking several back bumps and suplexes to establish that he's back at or close to a 100% after the last month of mostly being involved in out-of-the-ring brawls, going 9 minutes with Austin going over clean with a stunner, with the Austin-Benoit match crossing into an 8-minute overrun, gaining over 400,000 viewers back to close the show at a 5.3 rating.